So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it, I've come to take it. Kingdoms rise and fall, I've come to take it all. I'll take it all. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Pushing till I fall, I'm slipping to give All right, guys, happy Friday. What is it, the 11th? Let me get this off the screen here. We don't need that anymore. And I'm going to bring on our first guest. I see a couple of guests in the back room. Let's run an intro here. Korax steadily trying to take away my title as the most hated YouTuber. What's up?
Did you really even possess it, though, is the question.
I guess I'm the number 2 short squeeze specialist and now the number 2 most hated because, man, I haven't had you on for a while, but I've seen some of your videos and people get upset by them, my friend.
Facts. That's all I spit.
Just so everybody knows, I like to have a balanced amount of guests here, balanced viewpoints. I'm always somewhere in the middle, even though people assume I'm getting paid by AMC or some assume I'm getting paid by shorts. Nobody pays me. I don't short stocks, bro. And all opinions are my own. And I like to have bullish people on here and maybe people with a different perspective. Korax, you're not really an AMC investor, are you?
No.
But you do keep up with the retail world going on out there.
Been keeping up with the coverage. I think you did some pretty good videos on the whole settlement. I think both of us had been talking in chat privately that we kind of expected something like this because everything else is suicide.
I've been waiting for it for 7 months since November. Let's get our other guest on here so we can make sure we have balanced. We got me in the middle. We got Korax maybe to slap us around a little bit. Let's bring on our good buddy Mike.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
I also like to live dangerously.
Mike V, how you doing, buddy?
Oh my God, that intro
I'm good.
is...
I have no idea what I'm getting into. I just finished a best ball golf tournament all day today, so I've been in the sun drinking gin all day. So I'll do my best to play the part.
Since I'm at
the weekend,
I'm close to my target weight, so I'm actually having a drink tonight, just one. We're not going crazy, but welcome. Mainly, what I wanted to talk about. I've got maybe an hour before my wife gets home from work. And the hospital closes late tonight, so she gets off around 10 and plus clean up, close up, drive home, all that nonsense. So got a little bit of time to kill, and I thought it might be fun to hang out with you guys for a little bit, talk about Superman, which I saw, fantastic movie, talk about Wedbush, Alicia Reese surprising all of us with an outperform upgrade on AMC, and whatever else y'all want to chat about. There's been a lot of drama going on in the meme stock world this week with our good friend Kevin Malone, who I appreciate Kevin, for being a stock promoter for Quantum and Genius, because Lord knows they need it. And he was honest enough to disclose it, which, is better than a lot of these stock promoters out there. So kudos to Kevin for that. But, I'm kind of on the fence. See, I don't hate Kevin. I respect the job that he's doing. He's doing his job well. He's doing his job well, promoting these stocks.
I'll give you that. He's doing what he's paid to do well, and that's spread bullshit.
But he walks a fine line on the accuracy of his DD. That's what I was going to say.
It's way more accurate than most of these.
Yeah, it might be a time that me and Korax agree.
I have no problem with.
He's so full of shit with most of his posts.
I have no problem with any paid stock promoter as long as they're upfront that they get paid. Like Frank Benedetto, we know about, and Kevin, we know about, and then it's buyer beware. Like as I've always talked about for the last several years, you got to understand the fundamentals and the financials of the companies that are being promoted. And if you want to ignore those, hey, that's fine with me. That's your choice. You want to get on board the naked short bandwagon and ignore everything else. And a lot of people want to do that, hey, you'll get no flack from me. That's your choice. Just own your decision at the end of the day. I don't want to hear nobody crying for 3 years later, like Bed Bath & Beyond and MMTLP, that you got ripped off by anybody else. That was your choice, listening to someone with some kind of shady promotion.
Generally for paid people, that's
no, my whole problem with Kevin and guys like that. And you know my stance on a lot of these stocks, but I look at the bad side and what potentially could be negative and what potentially could be positive. When people are intentionally ignorant of, say, a bullish side or a bearish side, and in my experience, that's that guy. I've had a few conversations with him, and his financial interests are not aligned with telling the truth.
Not aligned with what?
I'm not a fan of a human being with telling the truth. So,
well,
like, you know, like anyone who's partisan, anyone who's just like, it's like, you know, even in politics, they're just Democrats or they're Republicans or they're liberals or they're conservatives. And no matter what the other side does, they're always right.
Well, I mean, a promoter's incentivized to promote. His job is to drive the stock price up. It's up to everybody to understand that and not get lulled by the siren song into holding something after a run up, because they always come back down. We've seen this in 100 different tickers over the last 4 years.
And I'd have begrudging respect for that.
Offside conversations with Malone before he was in Genius and before he was involved in all that, with some of his opinions on GME and AMC
and all of these companies. All these companies that are being promoted have a disclosed need for cash. They're burning cash.
100%.
They have little cash on the balance sheet. They have operating losses. Some of them have no revenue, and that's why they hire promoters, and they spend a lot of money. You can go look in their financials. Like Quantum spends a lot on promotion. So does G-Bucks and a bunch of these other companies, and that's fine. It's totally legal. Just know what you're signing up for if you're getting on that train.
They spend more on SG&A than they do R&D for a company that's supposedly supposed to be in the Medicare business.
And hey, again, I got no problem with those companies doing that. They're in the public market to raise money, right?
My problem I would have is, like, I would almost have a begrudging respect if he was someone like a Steven Van Meter type who's paid to promote the stock and just talks about what the company's doing and kind of dances over their financials and everything and tries to sell you on the story. It's completely different with a Kevin Malone figure, where he's literally admitted on the internet that his entire plan with GNS is to do literal market manipulation, where where the entire strategy is to sell shares on top of the run up to harm investors and then buy back at the bottom, a Ponzi scheme that can only last so long as they can find more suckers to suck money into the company. That's a scam. That's not a company.
Well, time will tell if that is the story that plays out, Corex. But Kevin is a new player in this sandbox, but we've seen the playground. We know what's on the playground. We know all the kids that come on the playground. We've seen this play out many, many times. MMTLP, BBBY, BBIG, what else? GTII, same thing. Finger, same thing every time. GNS. Look, if these companies don't have revenue or they don't have positive revenue, they only need you for one thing: to buy shares from them, because they're not selling anything else.
Yeah, their business is taking money from you.
Yeah, I don't know enough about those particular stocking, but as a human being, from what I've seen of him and his posting and stuff on X, he's just a person of questionable moral character. So
all of that aside, and I hear you, Mike. I hear you. All of that aside, they can be some fine momentum trades, and some of these tickers I've traded. I won't promote them, because they're shady financials, but they're fine momentum trades. Just be smart about it. You guys out there in the audience, get in early and get the F out quick.
There's only one momentum trade I'm in right now, and it's really dumb. I don't know why I'm in it. Maybe because it's only 100 shares a pop.
Which, do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm in Fannie and Freddie.
Oh, okay. So you're riding with Pulte?
I'm not riding with Pulte. I'm riding that they're going to do the thing that they're going to do and spin it off, because I mean, it's a Republican president. They've talked about this for a while, and I'm just going to sell the news. That's my entire strategy. It's going to run up when they finally detach it from Fannie and Freddie, and I'm going to sell the news.
Let's see. We got a comment here, Mike. It says, David says, who takes Wedbush serious? They downgraded GME to 13 a share when cash value alone. I'm thinking that David has not watched any of my videos. They did downgrade, but the cash value alone is not above $20, David. You're letting people lie to you. And I'm going to call these people out, all of them on Twitter, and especially the ones on YouTube who lie to you every day and tell you that cash per share matters when nobody gives a fuck about GameStop's cash per share. What matters, David? Net cash. Cash minus total debt, which is about $10 per share for GameStop. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you understand the basics of Finance 101, which these dunces on YouTube who cover GameStop will not tell you because they never took a finance class. When you understand that, you start understanding why an analyst might say $13. And I've done 4 ways to Sunday now and shared it in my Discord, different financial breakdowns, earnings-based analysis on GameStop, and the fair value is nowhere near $23. So the analysts they're not incorrect. Yes, they're using traditional financial analysis, and you're using that plus speculation, which is fine. I'm in GameStop at $21.61, knowing full well that I'm paying far above fair value. I'm okay with some speculative premium because $9 billion in cash is not worth anything to the valuation of GameStop, but it is potential to transform. It is potential to generate news, which could generate momentum. And that is all it is. It is useless sitting there earning 4%. Corex, you have any extra thoughts you want to add to that?
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the whole GameStop is debt-free thing. That just means that they're not levering their business up for potential.
Well, they're not debt-free anymore. They got over $4 billion
in debt. When but that story was.
People want to say,
some people are trying to even sell it right now, even though they've got those convertible notes.
It's convertible, so you can't count it as debt. Again, you're letting people lie to you. People that have never taken a finance class. It is debt.
Yeah. I mean,
you can look on GameStop's balance sheet.
Basic accounting principles. Oh, you've got this cash, but where'd it come from? Oh, it came from debt on the balance sheet that you issued. It doesn't matter that it's convertible. In fact, that's even worse. That means
the amount of people who just listen to these lies and then repeat them like they know what they're talking about is shocking to me. And I'm going to keep slapping you guys in the face, not with the dildo, PP. I'm going to slap you in the face with reality to help you learn the basics of finance and what these analysts are looking at and what the professionals, because, hey, guys, guess what? You got big institutions with $4 billion invested in GameStop now. And if you don't understand how they're looking at this trade, you're going to make some mistakes. They're in charge now, not you. Mike, what do you think?
I just don't understand the GME trade. If I wanted to buy a money market fund or if I wanted to buy Bitcoin, I just do it outside of GME.
GME isn't the only one. There's a lot
until there's some sort of news on what they're going to do with the business wise to create value.
The thing is,
yeah, and I have nothing against it. I think what he's done, he's raised money extremely smartly. He's got these 0% loans. He's been able to build the capital to do something transformative, but I don't know what that is yet.
The thing is, Mike, I think if you're not willing to put a little bit of money on the line, yes, there is risk, right? This is a speculative stock at $23. But the reason that I went in after the most recent rundown in price, I went in at $21.61, is the day that they announce that transformative announcement, it's going to be too late to get in cheap. The question is, what is cheap?
100%.
Because
It's a bet on Ryan Cohen, basically.
The question, yes, it is a bet on Ryan Cohen. The question is, what is cheap? Because if the market were to correct or GameStop were to have any bad news, 23 is not going to hold. 20 is not going to hold.
And it's a much lower risk investment.
Absolutely. It is lower risk than AMC. GameStop has solvency. They have liquidity. That's what $9 billion of cash buys you. Solvency and liquidity. Why is the stock stuck?
And business-wise, they're about break even. So
the stock is stuck because of profitability. And this is what the GameStop YouTubers do not want to talk about. It's like the third fucking rail, Corex. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
We'll talk about book value. We'll talk about the balance sheet, but oh Lord, don't bring up ROIC, ROE, ROA. Don't bring up earnings per share compared to my peers.
0% interest is irrelevant. If they don't get a return on their BTC, then
that David defeated Goliath is bringing up this 4% APY on the cash. Well, you can just buy a money market fund or a GIC.
Yeah, that 4% is meaningless.
That drives me
Nobody
nuts.
cares about
Or
4% because you can invest $1 billion in treasuries and get the same 4% without any risk. It adds no
called the
valuation.
risk-free rate for a reason.
It does not add to the value for GameStop. It does help them with.
You buy Bitcoin yourself.
It helps them with liquidity. Yeah. Yes, it's good, but they're not going to get a premium
on GameStop.
No one's going to give you a premium for 4%. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. The bet on GameStop, I agree, is 100%. It's a bet on Ryan Cohen and him doing something transformative with the existing business, because the brick and mortar gaming business is probably not going anywhere, and it's just going to continue to shrink. So
unless they do,
he's not a dumb guy, and if you believe in him, then he's got $9 billion at hand. What's he going to do with it? And that's the bet. And you're probably right. Like, now is the time to get in. If you
I believe in him, and a lot of the risk has been wrung out of the trade. They've got rid of all, the vast majority of the non-US locations that were losing the company money. I expect that the quarters going forward here should be better. And now we just sit back and wait and hope that our timing was good on our entry. Wait for how long? I don't know how long, because they don't communicate. That's the problem. And they're being penalized for that too, the not communicating. Mike, I got a question for you. Muner has a question. Oh wait, no, Muner, we'll get to you in a second. I thought it was an AMC question. We'll come back to Muner and the wheel, but yes, the wheel is definitely a good way to make money.
I also have an answer for that when we get to it.
Conquer. By the way, if you guys want to join in and come on video and ask a question, let me know in the comments and I'll send you a link. You got to act like an adult. No cursing, no doxing, none of that bullshit. You got to show your face. But we're happy. This is open mic tonight, so if you want to come in and say your piece, if you want to say your piece with a question, you're welcome to come on. I'm not going to let people, talk for 10 minutes about how much they love Adam Aaron and all that stuff. Ask a question so that the panel here can answer it. Conquer says, do you think AMC will keep running up or dump down? Your thoughts? I'm going to go first, and then I'll let Mike and Corex. I think, based on what we saw last week, the bad news that we know about is out there now. The settlement was going to cost something, and it did, but the stock recovered from that pretty well, far better than I thought. We took a dump down on the first from 310 to 280, and we're at 330 today. And like Alicia Reese said, the risk of additional dilution is minimized. The only unknowns that I will say, Conquers, is we're going to have a vote in December, and that's going to create some angst within the investor base. But that is what it is. I can't do anything about that. And we need to see how the Q2 and Q3 box office go. We'll find out Q2 soon enough, in about less than 30 days. And I think once we get those two behind us, Q4 into next year look pretty good. Mike, what do you think?
So I've never really cared about the short-term up and downs about AMC, whether it's going to run up or run down. As it stands right now, for me, it's a long-term trade. That's a bet on the recovery of the box office. So short term, I don't care. The biggest thing for me is I'm willing to average it into AMC, and we've had some discussions about this just on Twitter, Tony, me and you. I'm willing to average into AMC even if there's dilutions happening, because I think long term, as long as the box office recovers to a level which I think it's fair that it should recover to, then it's extremely undervalued at these prices, even with additional dilution. But the box office has to recover.
Right.
And so in the short term, prices up and down, I don't really care, and I don't pay much attention to it. You know, if it goes up to 4, if it goes down to 2, I'm still going to slowly average in, because I don't know where that volatility is going to go in the short term. And I don't think anybody does. And you're going to drive yourself insane trying to predict where it's going to go short term. So for me, I'm looking 26 and 27 and watching the box office very carefully right now, because there is a point where the dilution could get so much where it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to get out of this until, say, maybe the December vote or something like that. But I'm watching carefully to see if that event for me, for my personal decision making, happens, or if I'm happy to continue to average in on the bet that, again, the box office is going to recover to a level where AMC is cash flow positive. They can slowly start paying down debt. Their interest payments get less and less, and then it cycles upwards, and then you have a quite a good trade over the long term.
$2.79 up to $4 is a pretty good trade if it is able to get up there in the next few months or by the end of this year.
Yeah, that's what people are into. But like I said, I just hate to watch charts 24/7.
I hear you.
And
Agreed.
that kind of stuff. I'm more thinking long term. Yeah.
People ask me, I have other investments in this sector, and people ask me, what are you doing? I don't watch them because I bought them thinking 2026, 2027. The same thing you said, Mike.
Yeah. Like for me, it's not 2021 anymore. It's not the hype. It's like, am I happy to average in on this? What's the risk of additional dilution? Is the dilution getting to the point where I need to get out of the trade and maybe buy back in before it's done? But right now it's like I'm watching the box office, watching cash burn, watching dilution risk, because people just go nuts, right? And so the biggest concern that I'm worried about is if there is continued cash burn because of box office that doesn't get to the point where AMC can make money, and then you're in a situation where they're issuing shares to keep things going. Like it's kind of like and I've quoted this on it's rubber hits the road time. Like, is the recovery happening or not, and what level is that recovery at? And if the new normal is $9 billion a year, then AMC is in big trouble. But if the new normal is $11 billion a year, then AMC is going to just cycle upwards, because they're going to generate enough cash where they can start picking away at debt. They're going to do their refinancing, and they're significantly undervalued. But we don't know what that is. My thesis is that it's more towards 11 than 9, but now is where the rubber hits the road.
I like that about you, Mike, because you're unabashedly bullish and optimistic, but you're also pragmatic about the flip side. Yeah. Corax, you got any thoughts you want to add?
I think the last time I was on here, I said, I think we were looking at this from the other side of 25, trying to peer in. And I said, let's wait and see what 25 is. And it's been kind of sketchy, hit or miss. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it traded between this 3 to 4 range right now for the short term, but long term, I'm kind of like Mike, except I've been more bearish. I want to kind of see how are they going to structure this, because they've already talked about, I think you talked about in your video, Tony, they haven't decided how they want to get these shares for this settlement they've structured, whether they just want to do a reverse split or add more shares, what kind of that entire finalized process. They have to put it out before they put it to a vote.
They'll put it out in October, probably around October.
I'd like to
10th,
see,
11th.
that's probably where I would at least wait to get a better idea of what's the company's plan going forward. It also gives you a little bit more time to look at the box office and see where things are going.
That's kind of where I'm at in my thinking. Like the things that I was waiting on before getting back into AMC were understanding the lawsuit settlement, which we understand that now, and wanting to hear what the company was going to do about being out of shares, which I haven't got resolution on. I know that I will know something in middle of October.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of waiting for my own risk tolerance.
But like if the box office turns out okay and the share dilution doesn't look too bad, or they manage it well, you know what? Mike might finally see the time where I buy AMC, but right now I'm still just kind of, I don't know enough.
I don't know if you guys know.
And so like on my end too, it's like I don't care if AMC asks for 1 billion more shares or does a reverse split. But if they have to dilute into a reverse split or dilute half of those billion shares, then things start getting risky because of the cash burn, right? So it really depends on the box office and if they're generating free cash flow. And now, like I said, now is where the rubber hits.
Did you read that line in the documents from last week that AMC is going to be handcuffed, collared on the amount of dilution that it can do after the vote?
Yeah. They said it was about 6 months. Well, and I think they're taking that risk because, like, as they've talked about in the earnings calls, and like I'm just a guy on the internet that looks at some websites and makes some estimates, but these guys really know the industry, and I think they were comfortable taking the risk of handcuffing themselves because they really see an industry rebound. And we've talked about like Q3 doesn't look great to me,
right?
It looks better even to you, and they're saying, well, Q3 could be cash flow positive. I don't see it either. But it's, well, I could be wrong. So let's see if the rubber's hitting.
I think July is going to be good for Q3, but I have my questions about August and September.
Yeah, and on my end for Q3 to have a chance, like July has to be gangbusters.
Speaking of July,
the two positives.
Have either of y'all seen Superman or are planning to go see Superman?
I haven't been going to the movies a lot, so maybe I'll put it on my itinerary. But I haven't seen it.
Mike?
I'm more of a Marvel guy. The last one that I saw was I saw the F1, and fuck, what a movie that was, man. That was one of the best movies I've seen in years. That was a great fucking movie. Maybe because I'm a dad and it's pretty much a dad movie, but that was unbelievable. Not into DC. I'm more a Marvel guy. I'll probably go.
I'm just going to put in a plug for Superman because if you know me, I'm not the biggest superhero movie guy. I don't get excited about superhero movies in general, especially when they've got a ton of CGI, right? Like the alternate universe crap, that's just too much for me. I want a simple story. I want funny characters. And there are some funny characters in Marvel, but this Superman story kind of in a way reminded me of 1978 Superman with Christopher Reeves. It's just a different take and it's modernized. And it was funny. People were laughing. It had good action. Every character, in my opinion, was good. There were no weak characters. They each had their little endearing part. And then you had Crypto the dog. So I think, Mike, that this movie will pick up and do pretty well based on word of mouth. And all of these people trying to kneecap the damn film, talking about woke this and woke that. Look, I knew that going into it, that people were saying that. I didn't pick up on any of it. There was nothing that I would say avoid this movie because of woke ideology. No, there was not.
The real big thing here is like this movie doesn't have to make $1 billion, but what it has to do is to set the stage for future DC. Yeah. And if this movie can do that and get people pumped up, then that's going to be really good for Warner Brothers, like really good. And I'm a big fan of James Gunn. Guardians of the Galaxy that's probably my favorite trilogy in all of the Marvel universe. That third one, I've never cried about a CGI raccoon before, but I was pretty close watching that movie. So he knows, he knows what he's doing. He pulls at your heartstrings. So that's the bet. It's the bet that they can kind of set the stage, I think, for a future run of DC movies, and that's what they're trying to do. But I'm not a DC guy.
I think they built a good foundation here, and
of,
there's legs to take off in some different directions. So I look forward to it, and I hope y'all go see it and let me know. Not just you two gentlemen, but those of you watching as well. Let me know what you thought about Superman.
But in terms of Q3, I think for AMC to have a chance, July has to be gangbusters. But even if it is not, the other positive thing I can see about August, September is volume. August and September looks like it has a huge volume. There's no big blockbusters, but it seems that volume of those mid-sized movies is bigger than I've seen it since the release schedules pre-COVID. So that is the one positive about August and September. And if that can keep up along with the blockbusters moving forward, then AMC will be in a good spot.
Corex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you go first on this one from Daniel. He says, my question is, historically, GameStop and AMC run together. Why would it not be better to put my money in AMC when it's a lot cheaper than GameStop? Oh, this is going to be interesting to let someone who doesn't like AMC go first.
I don't think. I mean, if you're playing it on a momentum play, you're throwing all of the financials and everything out of the window is what it sounds like. If you're just playing it on AMC and GameStop move together, so why not just buy it on good news and just ride it up? Then you have to look at it as like the money you're putting into it is the money you're putting into it. It doesn't matter if you buy the amount of AMC or GME, it's going to be the equal amount to what you can buy to take advantage of that run up and get out. So buy what you want to buy if you're just playing for the momentum and getting out.
I'm going to let Mike close this one out because I'm going to insert myself in the middle. GameStop is clearly more, like we said, it's solvent. AMC is insolvent. That means they have more debt than assets. And GameStop has $8-9 billion in liquidity. There's a lot of safety there. AMC does not offer that level of safety, but what you're looking at, I think, is a trade-off of risk versus reward when you're trying to decide between AMC and GameStop. I think while I say that, the other thought that's kicking around in the back of my head is GameStop has pretty high volatility, and it could easily kick off its own run. Will AMC follow in that? I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
I think this is kind of a nuanced question because it's like, are you investing in meme stops and swap theories and theories of naked shorts? Or are you investing in some risky companies? GameStop and AMC fundamentally are two completely different companies. And when you're making a bet on each one of them, it's two different bets. GameStop's a bet on Ryan Cohen transforming the business, and AMC's a bet on the existing business they're running recovering. So fundamentally, it's like, what are you betting on? So on my end, like I typically don't invest in individual stocks, but I got drawn into AMC and I do all this research on it. And so like I have the fundamental backing of this box office recovery supporting my bet on this stock that I got involved in, right? So for me, that's why it makes sense. And I don't understand that bet on GameStop. And if there's some sort of malfeasance and craziness that's going to change things around because there's naked shorts or there's this or that, that's just kind of like a roulette wheel roll that goes along backing my fundamental analysis of the company. So it's kind of a complicated question. I think it's much more complicated than the simple question leads. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Carl says also, don't forget GameStop has decreasing revenue, and AMC, I think, got the upgrade today because of expectations of increasing revenue. So you got those two factors at play also. They're very different, like Mike was saying. GameStop has liquidity and solvency on its side and potential to do something with $9 billion in cash or $8.5 billion, whatever, which could literally ignite a rocket ship of momentum. And AMC is a bet on future box office with more risk inherent in the play because the company's still insolvent. And again, I'm using
And the idea for AMC too is
I'm using the technical definition. It's insolvent because they have more debt than assets.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, like the bet on AMC is they're cash flow positive and they can start paying down some debt and their interest payments get lower and then they get more cash flow positive and you get this upward cycle.
Yeah,
and that's the bet.
Both companies need institutions really to get on board their story. Would you agree, Corex?
Yeah.
And I know people are going to say, but institutions are already on board the GameStop story, Tony. Don't you know they gave them $4 billion of cash for zero interest? They must be on board with Ryan Cohen.
It's a leverage. It's basically a leverage call. It's a warrant that just happens to be a loan.
Yeah, I think people who think that are oversimplifying and not understanding how bond traders are looking at GameStop. They don't care about Ryan Cohen. They don't care about GameStop. They care about volatility, and they know they can make a killing running convertible bond arb strategies on GameStop as long as there's volatility in the ticker.
Because they can get all the upside by converting into shares, and they get none of the downside because they have to pay them back. It's a loan.
Yep. So the 0% coupon for GameStop it's not bullish to us as retail investors. It's not a sign that these guys believed in Ryan Cohen. It's just a sign that it was a non-factor because they know that they can make money every week in other ways running ARB strategies.
They bought a call with no theta. That's what they did.
And if you don't understand that, guys, get a fucking bond trader in your DD team. I have professionals in the industry that I talk to whenever I need to help me learn and understand this stuff. People that are not in these trades, they're just, they appreciate a channel that tries to be balanced, and they're just available for me to toss questions to. And look, I didn't know everything about bonds because I wasn't trading in troubled companies, distressed debt companies 4 years ago. For my 3 decades, I was buying profitable companies. This is all, some new learning for me, understanding all these nuances and learning about everything about bonds and how bond traders think. And I think that the vast majority of people commenting on GameStop have no idea how a bond trader thinks. And if you even try and bring it up, they call you a shill.
And it's a good thing to pick up because the bond traders are the ones that are doing the very deep analysis because their pants are on fire if not. So, I mean,
they'll get, if they're wrong and the company goes down the tubes, they get wrecked just like the shareholders do.
Yeah.
But based on the operations and based on the cash on hand, it's and like that kind of stuff's above my pay grade. Another reason why I'm not in GME because I don't understand the trade enough.
One interesting little tidbit.
I'm smart enough to know I'm stupid.
That's a good start for most people.
What was that, Mike?
Know your limits.
Oh, know your limits. Yeah.
I'm smart enough to know. I'm smart enough to know I'm stupid.
I heard somebody. I heard a GameStop YouTuber ranting on his channel the other day, Corex, that where are they going to find the shares? The 80 million shares short. Where are they going to find them? Where did these shares come from? Hello. They're coming from GameStop, buddy. They're coming from Ryan. He signed a paper to hand them all of these shares as convertibles. Nobody's scared over on the short side of GameStop because they have guaranteed delivery.
In fact, a lot of those debt holders might be holding some of those shorts as protection.
Well, protection and
play both sides of it, right? And it covers.
Yes, delta neutral hedging, and depending on the volatility, they can use that short position to make money as well. Like if it runs up and they increase their short position, then it drops back down. That's a bonus for them, and They still got all their shares, all the converts. It's fascinating stuff. If you really want to start learning this stuff, hang out with us and ask some questions, and we're happy to teach you. But man, I feel really, really bad. The only person really on Twitter that I see that's trying to do a good job is in explaining this stuff to people is Han. What's his last name? Akimoto or something. And the other gentleman, Conway, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only two people that I see getting anything correct on the bond stuff. Everybody else, you know, they just don't get it. They don't get it at all.
Kind of want your.
It's not bad to have the bondholders in the play, but if you want to trade this thing right, you better understand their motivations and how they drive the trade.
And nobody's in any rush. The stuff is like 5-6 years away. Nobody's in any rush to do anything.
And even if it runs up, they're not going to convert. That's the other big misconception. Everybody's thinking that they can't wait to convert and ride even harder with Ryan. No, they're not going to convert. Speaking of converts, Mike, did you know that Cinemark has 5-year bonds, which are trading at 2 times par, and nobody has converted, and they're maturing in 30 days. 5 years, nobody's converted.
Wasn't there short interest like 25%? Cinemark?
25% convertible ARB strategy being run on Cinemark. If you doubt anything I'm saying about GameStop, go look at Cinemark. They've been riding 20 to 25% short because of convertibles, and that is all about to get unwound in the next 30 days. So keep your eyes on that one if you want a little bit of live education about how this finally plays out, how the convertible bond guys unwind right before maturity.
And I honestly think Cinemark and IMAX are undervalued right now too. I don't think as much as AMC if the box office recovers, but I think they're not trading where they should be based on future PE.
I traded IMAX and Marcus Corp last year. I have Cinemark and Dolby this year. But if Q3 is weak, Mike, and IMAX goes down a little bit in July, August, or September, early November, I'm going to snag some because I think it'll be a great trade into 2026, 2027.
I don't think you'll see bad IMAX numbers because the IMAX bookings are, even with the weaker movie slate, the IMAX bookings are stocked full.
I'm just hopeful, you know. I'm just if it comes down, I'll grab some.
Yeah,
but I agree with you.
You could see for CNK, you could see because like Q3 looks weak. I think the IMAX looks strong, but I think the Q3 for the general industry looks a little bit weaker. But we'll see what happens.
And I agree with you. If the industry recovers, IMAX and Cinemark will do fine. So will Dolby, but the higher return will be on AMC. But you gotta weather higher risk while you're waiting for that. So the outcome is more uncertain.
Yeah, the box office like the rubber is hitting the road now. The box office has to return, otherwise the dilution's going to get to the point where it's
Hawkeye is giving a plug for MCS. That's Marcus Corp. I've done some videos on them. Go check those out. It's a fine company as well. A smaller player. They've got their hands in theaters and hotels. So you got to learn another side of the business. You got to learn the hotel industry.
Yeah. It's about 50-50, isn't it? Or 60-40 hotels and theaters, Marcus?
I forget. I know I covered it. I covered it in videos, but I forget.
Yeah.
David says, what's up, David? Thanks for asking another question. He says, what is your thesis and knowledge on swaps and derivatives, FTDs, and T+35? Boy,
that's
we
all
kind of
over the place.
Checked every box there. I'm just going to tell you my answer is real simple, David. I've been watching all of this stuff, reading all the DD, listening to everybody for 4 years now. And one thing that I can say for myself is that none of those drive my trading decision. I find them all fascinating topics. They may or may not be correct. I think they're widely misunderstood by some. But maybe I'm completely incorrect. However, paying attention to those things has not meaningfully driven profits in any of my trades. What has driven profits in my trades in these meme stocks is understanding a company's motivations, understanding the risk of dilution if they're losing money, and looking at the chart for a good entry. That's the financials, the fundamentals, the chart. That is pretty much all I look at these days. Swaps, FTDs, blah, blah, blah. I can't find any strong evidence that tells me those drive a trading decision. So what's the point of me wasting time talking about them? And we can look at the FTD data, and no one will ever tell you, look at the next column where the FTD got closed the next day. They'll just ignore that column called FTD change, and they'll say in 35 days, these are all going to come due, even though it shows right there that they were closed out the next day. That really irritates me. Mike, what do you think?
I'm smart enough to know that I'm stupid. I don't understand. I don't understand enough about it to make any sort of judgment. If the theories on swaps and FTDs on the meme stops are correct, great for me. But my underlying thesis is based on the fundamental trade. And if it works out that there's a bunch of hidden FTDs or naked shorts or T35 is going to change something, I'll make even more money.
That's how I look at it. It's just a bonus for me. It's not.
I just don't understand enough about it to talk about it. Yeah.
But I will say before we hand this over to Corex, swaps are definitely a way that they could take short exposure without driving up short interest. But if your bet is naked shorts, guess what, guys? Swaps is not short interest, and it's not going to create a short squeeze. You can have a swap that is completely handled with cash because it's a derivative bet on the theory company.
I think the theory on that is like the notational value of some of the swaps that people have done research on are so big that unless hedge funds or investors are completely irresponsible and they're just playing one side of a trade, then the other side of the trade is somewhere, and it nobody knows where the other side of the trade is. Like there's just these massive amount of swaps. Well, where's the other side of the trade? It's not showing up anywhere. I think that's the theory, and as I understand it, but again, like I'm kind of dumb, so I don't quite get the mechanics behind it, but I kind of get what they're trying to say when they bring up all this massive swap volumes or massive swap notational value on GME.
I certainly don't know everything about them. I don't know everything about them either. I know enough that when I've looked into them, I kind of just said, well, interesting theory. Hope it works out. That'd be a nice bonus. And I can't get any directional trading signals from paying attention to this stuff. So I don't care. Corex, what do you think?
I mean, the two
go follow Richard Newton or something. I guess.
the two that you guys put together there kind of solves it. Like the swaps and derivatives, like you said, they're all derivatives. They settle in cash if you can't get the shares. I mean, most calls and puts are cash settled. So I mean, because you look at the volume on some of these options chains and they're outsized compared to shares even available. So that's just how those operate. Yeah. It's like gambling. It's rich people gambling. Like, what do you want? And like you said, Tony, with the FTDs, like most of those are resolved the next day. And like, even if like in order for FTDs to matter in the sense that it's going to cause problems or that's there, it's what the SEC looks at. And that's if a company, it's not just, like the 7-day counter, the 35, doesn't matter. It's, are they intentionally, is the intent to never deliver? And so like, once you understand that point of the equation where that, becomes illegal, where it becomes that like someone could be doing something wrong, that theory kind of falls apart. It's not just like these time periods or things when the SEC's like, we'll come in with certain sanction things, like we'll shut down your ability to trade or do things, but like the real big thing is, are you not planning to deliver? And show me where on the doll that happens. If you do, cool, I'll believe it. But like, have yet to see anyone show it.
Everybody likes to talk about the total return swaps, but I wonder if people really understand what a total return swap is.
I don't think they do.
It's a bet between two parties on the return of an underlying ticker. It does not require, typically, like let's say you're an institution, if you had a large amount of shares and you wanted to generate some extra money, you might make a bet with someone who wants to bet on the return if they theoretically had those shares. And the institution who owns the shares could sell that bet to you. And because they're protected, they own the shares. And the other parties got a bet, a directional bet, positive or negative. But the bet is on the difference, the expected return of that basket. It's not like if we're right or we're wrong, we're going to have to deliver you shares.
It's basically playing high-low, and whoever's on the wrong end pays the bill.
It's a return swap, not a share swap.
But I think the theory on that is the notational value of some of these swaps is so large. Like hedge funds hedge, right? So they play both sides.
Or they find something that's a little bit like
the other side of the trade doesn't seem to be.
It could be.
So like people are acting completely irresponsible.
I would never say I know enough to say that. I would never say, Mike, that I know enough to say that is impossible. It totally could be.
Or you might have a total return swap where they're trying to hedge out something. Like they might be, say, short other theater companies and long AMC, or the other way around. You don't know what the other end of what they're calculating.
Yeah. But I get where that theory comes from. And if it's true, then well, great.
And yeah, I'll just say to finish up his question, there are a lot of great people who are really, really centered on that is their core theory for investing, and go listen to them. I'm not the right guy for that. I'm the guy that's going to talk to you about the financials, the fundamentals, management, motivations, how institutions and analysts are looking at it, and what I see on the chart. And I've got a pretty good track record of getting in cheap and selling into run-ups, rinse and repeat. And if that's not your style, that's not what you're betting on, there's other people to listen to, but maybe listen to this every now and then just for a check-in. Zachary says Regal might go public next year. Would be interesting to see the number 2 U.S. movie company's financial statements. Yeah, that drives me nuts that we can't see
Regal
struggling
a little bit, like last I heard, or are they doing better now? Because there's been some, like they've been shedding theaters and stuff like that coming out of bankruptcy.
They're what's their name over in UK, Mike? Cineworld, yes.
So the last I heard, there was lawsuits from Cineworld's landlords over in the UK.
Cineworld has been struggling. I don't know if Regal is
to reduce rents to keep Cineworld going into bankruptcy. So they have this unfair advantage over these other companies who are operating, because the law is coming in and say, well, lower your rents for this one particular company, while everybody else who hasn't declared bankruptcy is paying full price. I'm not a fan of Regal Cineworld. I think they're a shit company who's gone bankrupt multiple times, and they're fucking over their shareholders when they went bankrupt initially, and now they're fucking over all the people that deal with them on the business side, like their landlords. So if they go back with the box office recovery, I'm sure they would be profitable again, but I think it's a shit company and it's been managed very poorly.
The ones in my area are not very nice. I know that much. Zachary says, do you think brokers ever get audited for accuracy in transferring shareholder votes in a corporate action? I think that is, mostly what I see, Zachary, is people don't show up to vote. But if there was a vote where everyone showed up, there absolutely could be an overvote because of rehypothecation. And I think Ms. Trimbath has talked about that, where if they get an overvote, they push it back to the brokers and say, you submitted too many votes, you need to fix your vote. But I think that is a rare occurrence. Mostly what I see is a fraction of the total shareholders even show up to vote.
Retail's really bad about proxy statements, notoriously bad. Like,
And
you invest in the company and you're not going to vote. What?
We get a twisted view of it because we're also bought in, to paying attention, that we think everybody's paying attention like that, and that's just not the case. What do you think, Mike? Have you looked into this question at all?
I've seen the Suzanne Trimbath stuff. I've seen all that, but I don't know enough about it to speak with it with any sort.
I don't know how you could even.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you could get an overvote, because the share transfers with the ownership. So if you're lending out shares, like maybe I don't understand the theory that she's postulated, but I don't understand how you get overvotes.
I guess what she's saying, Mike, and here, corrects what she's saying is, if it was rehypothecated, that multiple people could think they have a vote. And I would need to sit back and probably smoke a cigar and really think about this. But I do know there have been times where I've had share lending on, and I did not get a full vote for all of my shares.
Yeah,
if I had 1,000 shares, they say, oh, you've got 500 votes. So I know if my shares are loaned, I don't get a vote. I already know that. But what if you, well, that is rehypothecation, right? They're loaning out your shares.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You don't get the vote because you technically don't own the shares anymore. You lent them out.
I can say from personal experience, if my shares are loaned out, I don't get to vote them.
But rehypothecation would be like the shares that you have loaned out, the person who has them loan them out again.
Yeah,
but the ownership would transfer to them to the next year.
They would also theoretically lose the voting right. So they'd have to be rehypothecating without telling us. And then now you get into some really difficult cover-ups.
And it gets really weird because
I'd have to see the data and the papers on that. And Suzanne Trimbath seems a very knowledgeable person, but I just have no idea. But she's very passionate about what she's talking about. So
I don't worry about it too much, just because I've seen very few instances where everybody voted.
And to be and to the core of the question, it'd be on the company. It's their shareholder vote. It'd be up to them to audit their own votes. So I don't know. I've heard every company has their person who's designated to oversee the votes and the elections at shareholder meetings, but I've never seen it become an issue. So I don't know if it's anything more than an honorary title. Hi, I'm the guy who checks the votes.
Yeah, because then you'd have to have layers of conspiracy. You'd have to have a conspiracy that the brokers,
the company was screwing you too.
Right. The brokers didn't provide accurate information, and the auditor didn't flag it, and the company didn't care. I mean, how many layers of conspiracy? Why are you investing if you think everything is that fucked? Would be my question. Like, why? What?
Everything is fucked to him. Come on.
The secret answer is crime.
The secret ingredient is crime.
Yes. Well, my wife is home from work now. Do you guys have any different topics or closing thoughts that you want to share?
Intel.
Intel? INTC?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I'm a baggie. I'm a known Intel baggie. Not as big as some people, though.
I invested in Intel at one point, but I sold. Let's see. I got in at 2067 about a year ago. It's at $23, so it looks like I haven't missed much.
No. I got in at about this range. It hasn't moved too much from where I'm at. I'm mostly invested in for the same reason you guys are in AMC. I like the story. I like where the company's going, and
I'll tell you,
it's just painful to sit here and watch it. It's like, you're so close to being right. Why are you so wrong?
One of my friends who has a pretty high up position in NVIDIA told me, buy some of the competitors as backup. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I know a couple of them I like, but yeah, there's others I have besides Intel, but yeah, they're like NVIDIA. If you just want to set and forget about don't want to think too much about semiconductors. Intel is the leader right now, but there's some of these others that they have certain things that they're doing that are changing little parts of the industry. Qualcomm has been doing semiconductor chips for all your cell phones. They're getting into the laptop business now, and they seem to be doing pretty good. They just got done fighting with ARM over if they get to keep the intellectual property to keep using ARM chips, and they won that one for the most part. Then you've got ARM itself, which is like okay, NVIDIA chips, they're ARM chips. You know, a lot of your laptops and your cell phones, those are all ARM chips. Then you've got Intel, which is really struggling. They are the ones that own the x86 architecture. So the AMD and Intel chips, they own the architecture for that. They're trying to get into doing semiconductor fab work, kind of like Taiwan Semiconductor does, while they're also getting into the GPU market. So there's a lot of potential upside there, but they're struggling with the expenses of, you know, upscaling into those businesses, and it's painful for them right now. Not great.
Doug says, why are you all wearing hats? You're not outside. I wear hats to piss people off mostly, Doug. Zachary,
I wear hats because I don't have much hair left. So
I think we're all in that neighborhood.
Zachary says, just saying, when I vote in my county, I know my vote is number 458, but it's not much transparency. I agree with you. There's some trust, Zachary, but I have no basis to tell you that trust is deserved.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
something. It would be nice.
I'd love to have a job as a vote auditor one day at a corporation and just to see how it all works. Just for one time.
410 million in 26, right? Yeah, it'd be nice.
Michael says, what do you think of Cinemark that had to upgrade to 37? What's the difference on the AMC and Cinemark? Cinemark is able to be profitable on smaller box office, and they have less debt. So that's the story with them. They're profitable. And
Cinemark,
price,
AMC could be where Cinemark is about 3 or 4 years from now.
Price targets are a function of earnings. EPS times about 20 will get you a price target for 37. So you can divide 37 by 20. That will tell you that the analysts are expecting in the next 12 months, Cinemark's earnings per share for the year will be about $1.85. That's how I look at it. Who asked that question? Michael. So what's AMC's annual earnings per share going to be? Multiply that times 20. If it's a positive number, and you can get yourself a rough little price target for AMC.
Yeah, I know. I kind of, Carl there pointing out, yeah, I did kind of brush over AMD. They are kind of the current CPU leader, and it would be nice if they were more competitive against NVIDIA in the GPU space, but what can you do?
Ronnie says, is GameStop going to follow the AMC fractal? I invited Ants Trades on tonight to give us the full breakdown on fractals, but he was not available. So maybe check with CSI if he's still covering fractal theory. Just not something I talk about on my channel. I look at charts. I look at supply zone and demand zone. I look at moving averages. Fractals is...
I've never heard of that. What's this whole fractal thing?
Oh, you pick a pattern that you like from a year or two ago. You rub it, you flip it, you roll it over. And if it looks good to predict what you think you want to happen for the next time frame, then you paste it on the end of the current chart, corrects?
Stock market astrology, got it.
Yes, you got to first identify a pattern that you like where it shows it going up. And you find a couple points that look similar to the recent chart action. Then you copy that pattern and you paste it. And then you always got to draw an arrow going straight up.
I hear Sagittarius is in the right phase for AMC to moon.
But yeah, go check with our buddy Ants Trades. Fractal is not something that I've ever seen predict anything. The closest of anybody that ever has had a reasonable success with that sort of theory is what's that guy's name, Mike, up in New Jersey? He's the love him or hate him guy. Yeah, Nick.
Yeah,
He's always
Nick.
talking about his
Nick
what's his
he backtracks a lot and he goes back and forth, but he is unbelievably the amount of times.
If I was going to recommend you guys listen to anybody
I track him
that has a reasonable track record,
Yeah.
it would be Nick. And I can't remember his last name. Pantano.
Yeah.
Nick Pantano. Yeah.
Pantano. Yeah.
He is wrong
He
sometimes, and he doesn't look
yeah.
at the fundamentals. He doesn't look at the financials. He doesn't think about the company's motivations and what they're likely to do. He just says he's got the points of interest figured out. Okay.
Well, he's like the stock market runs on a predetermined cycle, and the news is
To
made
fit
up
the cycle.
to fit.
It's an interesting theory.
Cycle.
I mean, I like his shtick.
The amount of times he's been right is actually like it's not like it's like a 50-50 thing. Like he's nailed.
I would never hate on Pantano. I don't like his. I wish that he'd talk more about company motivations, but that's not that's not his shtick. So I can't fault him for that.
No. I don't trade based on what he says, but I do follow him because it's more like reality TV. Let's see if this guy, let's see where, but he's selling a Discord and he's selling a business and he's making money off it. So don't know if it's some voodoo and he's trying to make a bunch of money or if he's got something figured out. But I do follow and watch. What
Carl says, dude said AMC going to $1.50. I guess he's talking about Pantano. Is that his most recent prediction?
I'm gonna
$2. I think he said the short term it could go to 340, and he said that not long ago, and we just had this bump up pretty close to 340. But he said over the course of the next few months it will drop down to 2, and GME will drop down to 19.
I think I don't look at points of interest like Nick does, but I think based on Q3 box office, if it ends up being a stinker, $2 could be in the cards for AMC. I just don't know how good how good or bad Q3 is going to be. So if it's a stinker, $2 would not surprise me. But I'm not making that a prediction.
July better be big.
Mm-hmm.
July better be big is all I have to say. And I'm going to make some decisions after July.
Corex, you got any your closing thought? It was Intel. Mike, do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't know Intel.
Just about
any closing thoughts.
Any closing thoughts?
Oh, hi guys. Nice to see you again.
I do want to add, just for anybody who's here, because I try and keep you guys posted on my trades that you might care about, and I post these in the Discord in the VIP. But I had bought Highcroft back after the dilution announcement that I had been waiting on for over a year. I bought Highcroft around $3 on June 16th. I sold it today at $3.98. So nice. A little bit over 30% return in under 30 days. That's the kind of trade that I like. Buy after a dilution event, buy when everybody's scared, buy when the market overreacts. And then if you have some DD or some belief that you think that was an overreaction, then just be patient, sit back and wait. I only had to wait 30 days, and 30% in 30 days is perfect for me. It could go higher if silver and gold go higher.
I've been having that same thing.
I'm not trying to ride it to $5 just in case. 30% in 30 days. Imagine you do that with every trade in your portfolio over and over throughout the year. You're gonna kill the indexes. Yeah.
Get rich pretty quick.
Take those first, second base hits, guys. Nothing wrong with it.
And there's plenty of them out there. You just got to do the research and put the time into it.
Mike and Corex, thank you for your time tonight. Good hanging out with you guys. We'll be around this weekend, and I'll see if I can get these guys back or get Sparky on here. We can do some bond talk. Get Mediocre on
Saturday for sure.
Huh?
I'll definitely be around for the regular show on Saturday.
All right. Yeah, you got to check out
guys.
Corex's channel for his Saturday show. All right, gentlemen, thank you. I'm going to let you go and go say hello to the wife. Take care. Have a good weekend, you guys. Go see Superman.
Hey,
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back.